Yeah, y- yeah. I go to your friend
Oh yeah,
Harry.
yeah, Dave.
Yeah, he does my hair.
Very nice. He looks good. Looks good.
Thank you, thank you. Uh, three, two, one. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Faces for Autism South Jersey Field of Dreams celebration dinner. I'm Jacob Hackett. You've heard stories from everybody that's been involved in the last 2 decades. I told you a personal story in the introduction. My next guest this evening he's a PE teacher. I had him nearly, without aging myself too much, 10 years ago. And he's been a valued member of the South Jersey Field of Dreams family, always bringing either Absecon Public Schools staff out or Cedar Creek baseball team out. Please welcome physical education teacher and baseball coach, John White.
Jacob, thanks for having me, bud. Always a pleasure. Glad to be here.
Thank you for being here as always, whenever FOD needs help. So I'll start it off this way. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, as you mentioned, and I'm glad you corrected in the beginning of my introduction, you said I was a gym teacher. Obviously, I guess you can say we are, but we like to go by health and physical education teachers. So good job picking up on that and correcting yourself there, bud. I know you were probably getting a laugh out of it.
Yeah, I did laugh to myself.
Maybe you like to call a gym back in your day.
Yes, I do. Back in my day, nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah, that was I hate to say it, bud, but that was a little more than 10 years ago. But we won't age ourselves.
Was it real? Was it really? How long ago was it?
I guess now it's been I guess more 11 or maybe even 12. I have to count.
Who's
counting anyway? Who's counting?
Who's counting? Who's counting? So, as I said, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, no problem. So, yes, I am a health and physical education teacher. I've been teaching for roughly 13, maybe 14 years now. I taught in the Ventnor School District before coming to the Absecon School District, where I currently am a educator. You mentioned also that I am a baseball coach at Cedar Creek High School. I've been doing that roughly 7 or 8 years now. I also am involved in coaching cross country and volleyball at the middle school level. So a lot of my time after school throughout the school year is pretty booked up with sporting events. So that takes up a lot of time, but love making time for the Field of Dreams, whether it's in the spring season or in the fall season. Always a pleasure getting out there, whether it's with my school community or my baseball team. It's a humbling, rewarding, awesome atmosphere. If you've ever been, you've probably seen here Mr. Hackett strike out a few times, swing and miss. That always gets the crowd going a little bit, but it's an awesome experience, an awesome atmosphere. Love being there, Jacob. Always fun to see you there as well.
I mean, yeah, John, and everybody said tonight how much the Field of Dreams is a family experience, and we are a family. The board is like my second family. We've all followed each other. We're never afraid to ask each other for help. And I mean, as I said earlier tonight, if it weren't for the kids, the generous sponsors, the volunteers such as Absecon Schools and Cedar Creek that give their time year after year after year, there would be no Field of Dreams. Our volunteers, Craig Junimitz told you, are our backbone. Without any form of volunteers. Nobody's paid. We all work under volunteer levels. I'm social media on the Facebook site, and then 100 other job titles underneath that. I mean, and we all do it because we want to be there. Nobody's there because you wake up in the morning and say, oh, I have to be there. No, everybody's there because we want to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, going to that family, oriented mode that you were talking about, it's great to come back each season, or I know we missed a few seasons, and to see some of those familiar faces from past teams that we've helped, volunteer for and support. But also, I know I guess it was in the spring season when I brought my stepson. He needed some volunteer hours, and I brought my now wife, then fiance, and it was their first experience. And I know, kind of hearing them talk about what a great time it was, and involving themselves with a community and an organization such as the Field of Dreams. It was very unique, and it was very rewarding. For all levels. And, I've been doing it really, I couldn't even tell you how many times. And it's always a great time. You're always seeing smiling faces. You're always seeing, just positive, happy individuals who just love being there and being a part of it. It's always packed. There's always, cheering and spectators, and for the volunteers that come out, like you said, it's not about, I have to go to this, I have to do this. No, like, we want to be there, and without volunteers, like you said, we there wouldn't be a Field of Dreams. So having that opportunity is certainly awesome and rewarding.
And when Ryan Flick and I get stuck in a bind, where, not that he and I particularly like this at all, but when a volunteer group cancels and we're stuck, and I'm rummaging through lists, names, pieces of paper. Thank God for AppSeek schools, because I sometimes I get scared to do it, but I always send you guys an email, and whether it's 4, 5, 9, 10, it doesn't matter. You're always there for us, and we thank, well, from me and then the rest of us, we thank you.
No, absolutely. I mean, like, you're an Absecon born and raised, and we're only a couple miles down the street. So, having that community and being involved with the community as well outside of the school environment is really big, and it's something that I cherish, and I look forward to. So whether it's a fill-in opportunity, or we already slated for a night or a day, whether we have a couple of people, or 10, 12, 20 people, it's great to just associate with ourselves within the community right there where we're basically from.
And it's good for, because I know Absecon has this now, it's good for, say, national honors societies, because I know you brought a couple of kids out last time we were together in the fall. I saw you in the fall, but from my memory, in the spring. But as our friend Ron Dorsey has told me, the kids, no matter how old you are, you need to be exposed to it as a regular, everyday citizen, and teaching the lessons of being grateful,
empathy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Humbling, absolutely. And from top to bottom, whether it's bringing in a middle school student who's looking to get some volunteer hours, or bringing in the baseball team where you got high schoolers, or I know you get a lot of volunteers from, from Stockton, where they're college students, and then beyond those that are in the workforce and up into, my age and even older. It's a rewarding atmosphere all the way around. And there's always something you could take out of it. And if you're not taking anything out of it, you need to open up your eyes and your horizons and really see. And if you haven't been a part of it, I challenge anybody who is watching, who are listening, I challenge you to stop by, whether it's the Field of Dreams, South Jersey Field of Dreams in Absecon, or the Field of Dreams anywhere in New Jersey, and see what they're about. And don't hesitate, just jump out there and do it, because it's a memory and an experience you'll never forget.
Speaking of your memory, I'm going to test your memory a little.
Oh.
How did you hear about us? And do you remember your first time there?
Man. I would probably have to say that I heard about the Field of Dreams just being associated with the Absecon Public School District, and being so close and oriented with yourself and your family, and being right there in our environment. I would say it probably had to do something within relation to the school. And I think my first time was a school function event with our union, our Atlantic County ACCEA, and we had something where we needed volunteers, and I was like, oh, it's right there, why not give it a shot? And it took off from there. And then from then on, whether it was volunteering through another organization or starting my own kind of organization group with our school community or with the baseball team, it was just something that spring, fall, I'm marking my calendar, we're trying to get a date in. And I'm trying to bring as many people as I can. That way we can keep branching out and allowing individuals to experience it.
Yeah. And just as you said, and not that I would ever bring this up during tonight's program, but if the kids aren't getting something out of it, pardon my French, that is a darn shame, because there's always something for somebody to do. I had a team of, I believe they were 13-year-old Boy Scouts last year. They legally, as per insurance reasons, were not allowed to be on the field. So we have other places where people can work.
Mm-hmm.
Put them here, put them there.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you can't be on the field as per your age does not mean you cannot work at the Field of Dreams. There is always, come find me, I'll find you someplace to be put, whether you like me or not.
Well, what's there not to like about you, Jacob?
What's there not to like about me?
That you don't have to answer that. Don't worry. I can give them plenty of information.
I'm not going to go there. I'm not going there at all. If of course, over the last 12 years, that's making myself feel a little old. Do you have one particular memory, one particular kid you helped that has stood out over the last decade plus?
Ooh, well, so many times, and to keep track and remember.
Right.
Like, it's tough to narrow down. I mean, I think being there and just having the ability to help all and be present and available for all, it's definitely rewarding. I would have to say there was a young man's name way back. This has to be This has to be maybe 9, maybe even 10 years ago. Um, I was helping a young man, and just we had a great connection. I have a photo somewhere of us talking in the dugout or high fiving, um, and it was really like one of my first few years there and first few experiences at the Field of Dreams. So it was an awesome kind of bonding experience. Um, and so really my interest really took off like shortly after that, and of really wanting to get more and more involved. I will say your good friend who I haven't seen him, um, Stevie. Stevie
Oh,
and I made
Yeah, Stevie Jones.
Stevie Jones and I made a great connection
Yes, you did.
right before COVID, you know, so we had that bond, and he was kind of communicating with me um, here and there since, but he sticks out in my mind as an awesome ball player who just was fun to be around. Great conversation, a pleasant, very respectful. I would say young man, but he's not a young man. You know, he's an adult. So it was a blast, and you know, obviously, whenever I'm there, and if you're able to get there, it's always great to connect with you, and you know, lose a couple toes when you run me over going around the bases or whatnot. But you know, they're just toes. They'll heal.
Yeah, those don't grow back, but they will heal. And I apologize if the toes turn black from being ran over. Black and blue. I'm sorry. My sincerest apologies.
Oh, don't worry, it's not your fault. It's probably my fault anyway.
One of us isn't paying attention. That's the
And
short
then
answer
there
to that story.
And there's no crying in baseball, so it's not like I could even say anything or show a tear because you can't cry in baseball.
Right. No, there's no crying in
I
baseball.
just had to try to muster it up and make a joke so that we could laugh. No, I'm only kidding. You never ran my toes over. I just wanted to see your reaction.
I've been very good. I've ran other people's toes over, but I've never ran yours over. Um,
I
I
think
kind
because
of
you're scared of the consequences.
I was scared of the consequences then, and I'm not so much now, whether that's
Eh.
good or bad. Um, I kind of asked this already, but again, say if you had a student that was looking to, or a parent came to you and said, "I want to get my child involved." What would you say to what? What would you say to them?
You know, I would tell them, you know, 100%, like jump in, keep an open mind. Uh, there's full of opportunities and expectations. Kind of like what we categorized it. It's an awesome experience where you know you kind of get a little humbled. You learn a lot. You have a lot of gratefulness and just rewarding times, no matter who you talk to, whether it's one of the ball players or a parent of a ball player or just a spectator or an organizer or a volunteer. The experience is hands down, you know, one of the best experiences to be a part of. And then if you're associating yourself inside of one of the games and volunteering, you know, it just amplifies that experience because now you're interacting, you're making memories, you're bonding with other individuals, and it, the volunteering work that we might do with some of the ball players, it might not seem like a whole lot to us, but it makes a big difference, and it truly is something special to that. You know, I know at least I cherish. You know, each time I get there, each time I'm walking up to the field, I get this kind of chill of what experiences am I gonna come into now once I step on that field. So you know, if a student, you know, or even a parent, you know, reached out about getting involved, I mean, hands down, you know, I know that I've had coworkers ask if you know individuals could show up, and you know, I know you guys don't. I don't turn anybody away. So if they're uncomfortable, if they're not sure, come watch on the sideline for a half a game, or come stand with me, and I'll show you what it is. But it's definitely something that to experience and to be a part of.
And it's a very humbling experience for all of us. Friends, from my heart to John's heart, to every person's heart that has been touched by tonight's program, thank you for all you've done and all you continue to do. And let's make the next 20 even better than the first.
Absolutely.
Oh God, hold on. Name buttons now. Oh goodness.
Come on, I thought you were a pro at this.
Clearly I'm not.